Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're taking a look today at an external hard drive from Seagate. I know, it's an external hard drive. What could be interesting about it? Well, this one's got a pair of USB ports in the front because in addition to being a hard drive, it's also a USB hub. So it's got some functionality that I think will be very useful for people running with low-powered computers like this Raspberry Pi here that we'll be playing with a little bit later in the video, as well as some of those Windows computers we've looked at, you know, the ones on sticks or the Kangaroo Mini PC and many others which don't have a lot of power going to their USB ports. This will give you the ability to get a lot of storage hooked up to your computer. It's got its own power supply, and it also powers both of these USB ports, so you can add, in addition to this drive, 2 more hard drives to it, all of which are going to be powered by this power supply and not what you have plugged into your mini computer. So really useful stuff, and we'll be taking a look at how you might use that in a second. But I do want to mention, in the interest of full disclosure, that Seagate provided this drive to the show free of charge for us to review. I'll be hanging on to it because we're going to use it for archival storage here. I don't often store a lot of my raw footage, and I'd like to start doing that. And this has got 8 terabytes of space that will allow me to do that on an ongoing basis, so we'll be using it for that moving forward. However, nobody is paying for this review. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own, and no one is reviewing this content before it is posted. So let's take a look at the hardware first. Not much to look at, actually. You've got a desktop hard drive inside. This is the 8 terabyte version. This costs $249. There is also a 4 terabyte version for $139. It's got 2 USB 3.0 ports on the front here. That's the USB hub portion. On the back, you've got a micro USB connector that plugs into your PC or Mac or Linux computer or Raspberry Pi or anything else. It is a standard USB hub and a standard hard drive, so if your device supports those 2 things, this will likely work with it. I haven't found anything in my house that doesn't work with it, including Android devices and everything else that normally supports hard drives, so it shouldn't be an issue there. And of course, you've got your power connector here. I'm going to plug it in real quick because what's cool about these ports is that they're always powered even when there's no computer connected. So if I plug in my phone to one of these ports, my phone is going to start charging because these ports are always active and will allow you to charge your phone or other device even if your computer is off. However, you should note that these are only about an amp or so. I think it's 1.5 amps per port. So that's fine for a phone charger. Typically, most normal speed phone chargers are about an amp of USB power, although iPad chargers and other larger tablets sometimes draw 2 or more, so they'll charge more slowly on here than they might with a standard power supply for those devices. So let's hook it up now to my Raspberry Pi, and we'll take a look and see what it does. Now, before I plug it in, I noticed that there's still some plastic I have to pull off of here, nice and shiny on that. So this is one of those devices where you could have it for 10 years and finally notice it has plastic on it. So as you can see here, we've got nothing plugged into the Pi right now, so I'm going to plug in the hard drive now, and we'll see if it shows up on our list of available devices on Kodi here. We're running the OpenELEC operating system on this particular Raspberry Pi. The drive will take a second to spin up. This is a standard spinning hard drive, and the drive isn't all that noisy either. You will hear it spinning up, you'll hear it operating, but it's not as loud as similar sized drives I've looked at in the past. And hopefully in a second or two, we shall see that Seagate drive available as a source. There it is, and I can go in here and maybe play back a movie file or something like that. So I'll just zoom out a little bit, and you can see that we are able to play back a Blu-ray MKV file without too many issues on this particular device, and it seems to work as you would expect it to on something like this. So pretty good stuff there. So now I've got another drive here. We've got a little SSD hooked up to an enclosure. I'm going to plug this now into the USB hub and see if that drive shows up. It should. So we'll pop that in like so, and that will hopefully come up on our list of available sources, and I should be able to start playing media through the hub over to the device here. So I'll load up one of my prior reviews here, and look at that. There you go. So you're able to have data transfer from this drive into the hub and eventually make its way to the Raspberry Pi where it is playing back. We'll stop this real quick, and let's see if we can add yet another drive to the mix here as well. Now, normally you would probably overload your Raspberry Pi at this point if you were plugging all of these drives that were self-powered into the Raspberry Pi itself, because there just isn't that much power available on that device to power the computer as well as all the peripherals you're attaching to it. But in this case, because again, we're dealing with the power supply on here, we can add as many things as we want. So I got another drive that I just plugged into it, and that one is ready to go as well. So really nice to be able to extend your Raspberry Pi or other low-powered device here, get a lot of storage, and be able to get additional storage and other peripherals plugged in through these ports. You could also do keyboards, mice, and anything else else that's USB compatible. And again, everything is being powered by the hard drive itself. And the performance on the drive is very good. We're seeing speeds around 180 megabytes per second in both directions, both on the reads and on the writes, which is very, very good, especially for the kinds of things you might buy an 8 terabyte drive like this for, which is to move large volumes of data off your computer and onto here for backup or archiving. However, if you are only going to keep one copy of a file on this drive, make sure there is another copy somewhere else, because hard drives can and do fail, and you always really want to have a good backup of your files to make sure that you never have a single file that's only in one place and only on one drive. So multiple drives, multiple locations, just to make sure that your data is safe no matter what happens to your hard drive or to the structure that it might be residing in. But overall, this is a really nice little product because it does integrate two common products that you might need to get: an external hard drive along with a powered USB hub. You saw here it works great adding multiple drives to our Raspberry Pi here. You could use this, for example, as a project drive if you wanted to maybe create your own network attached storage device. You can attach multiple hard drives to your low-powered computer without overloading it. I find that to be very useful, but it's also good just for having a place on your desk to plug in your phone or something, to have a USB port that's in quick reach that has its own power supply too. So pretty nice little product from Seagate, and this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.